Hey guys, welcome back to Homestead Kitchen. I am Amy and today we're going to be making some birch sap and salmon soup from the land and from scratch. So the sap comes from birch trees that we tapped a few days ago on the homestead. The sap is just starting to get running and the salmon was caught by us last season in a nearby river. So let's get going. So today we're going to be using some root veggies. Use whatever you have. I just have a mix of sweet potato, red potato, and then Yukon potato, some carrots, garlic, and of course our salmon. I'm also going to throw in a little bit of milk from our goat to get it a little creamy. If you have any greens that you'd like to throw in, that's a good addition too. If it was a little bit later in the season, some dandelion or nettle would go great in here as well. And then of course we're also going to be using our sap, about 4 cups of sap. So birch sap makes a wonderful, subtly sweet broth. It's not overpowering, just enough to kind of give it a hint of forest. It also contains a lot of minerals and antioxidants, so it's good for you to drink and consume. But we like to make a birch sap soup in the early stages of syruping season because it's just a wonderful way to kind of use some of that up before you get enough to boil down. All right, we are going to start by adding a little oil to the pan. I'm going to use tallow here, but you can use whatever you have. Okay, I'm going to start by adding my garlic to the pan. If you have onions, they go really well in this too, as well as leeks or fennel. Okay, now we're going to add our root veggies in here and just kind of let them go for about a minute before we add our sap. We are going to go grab some of our birch sap out of our bucket here and add it to the pot. Nice and full. So I'm going to add just enough to kind of cover this and go a little bit over the top, and then once my potatoes and carrots are all cooked through, I'm just going to add the salmon at the very end because it only takes a few minutes to cook and you don't want to overcook that salmon. So I'm going to go ahead and throw our sap in. Okay, that is perfect. We are going to let this infuse and kind of start cooking down while I run inside and do a stretch and fold on my sourdough dinner rolls. I think we're going to take a little bit off this too, just to drink while we cook. It is so good and refreshing. If you have not tried either maple sap or birch sap, it's really, really yummy. Has a slightly minty taste to it, just very slightly, but other than that, it's just super refreshing. Okay, so while we are cooking with birch sap today, I'm going to make our sourdough dinner rolls with a little bit of birch sap instead of water and see how that turns out. And with my dinner rolls, it basically starts like with any kind of sweet loaf recipe. I just start with a very active starter. I think I'm going to mix my starters. Take about a good ½ cup to a cup of each. So this is the new starter I made on the channel. Then I have my older, more mature starter. Use some of that too. And I fed these last night late, maybe around 7. So I got that, and then instead of my water, I usually do about 2 cups of water. I'm gonna use birch sap, and I'm thinking this is gonna work well because there's sugars in here and yeast, so I think this is gonna make this dough very happy. So I got about 2 cups of that. Ooh, so good. And then mix it up really, really well. Incorporate the starter and the birch sap. Gonna kind of follow like my hamburger and hot dog recipe where I add about maybe like a 1/4 or 3 to 4 tablespoons of melted butter in here, a little bit of salt, maybe a tablespoon of salt, and then a whole egg, and mix that in too. Take my salt, add about a tablespoon, grab an egg. Oh, and I'm also going to do a little bit of honey, though you could do a little sugar too if you wanted sugar or maple. And then just gonna make sure that this butter is nice and cool because I don't want it to be super hot when it goes into the starter. Okay, and now once this is all mixed in, I'm just gonna add my 4 cups of flour like with all my sourdough recipes and just mix it until that shaggy dough forms. And then I'm gonna wait about 1.5 hours and start my stretch and folds. It definitely smells kind of sweet. I'm excited to try this. And then when we have our syrup all boiled down and we get to bake with it all year, gonna be exciting. We use birch syrup for everything from coffee to baking. Okay, I'm gonna throw a top on this and then put it by the wood stove to sit for about 1.5 hours, and I'll come back and do my first stretch and fold. Okay, so our root veggies have been simmering away in our birch sap. It smells delicious, just like slightly sweet, really good smelling. I am gonna start prepping my salmon to just be thrown in here. That salmon is gonna go maybe 5 to 10 minutes, just until it's cooked through and flaky. And then I'm gonna throw some of our raw milk from our goat in here as well and kind of cream it up, as well as our seasonings. So I'm gonna go ahead, throw this salmon in, and then let it get cooking. Smells like a really good salmon chowder. Basically what it is. Okay, all right, I'm gonna throw in some spices now, and then my milk, very last minute. Okay, I keep things really simple. Like I said, if you have wild foraged greens or any kind of green, throw it in here. It's delicious. I like dandelion or nettle in here. But since I don't have those, I'm gonna go with a little bit of dill, some sea salt, and a little pepper. Keeping it simple. Great. I'm just gonna let this cook, and then in about 5 minutes or so, I'm gonna throw our milk in here, our nice fresh milk, and we're almost gonna be ready to eat some lunch. It smells like a chowder, but just slightly sweet and a little woodsy. Really good smelling. Okay, this smells delicious. We're ready to throw in a little bit of our milk to get it nice and creamy and just enough to get a little warm again. And then we're ready to eat. Okay, we're just gonna let that warm up, and then we are ready to try our soup.
I will eat all of that if you want.
You like it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's better than our older soups.
Birch Sap Soup is approved by the 5-year-olds. This is done. We are going to ladle out a bowl for all of us to try, and then reheat this for dinner to go with our sourdough dinner rolls. Let's sample some of this. This is super good. Slightly sweet, but really not overpowering. It's good. Lean, you want to try a bite?
Sure.
Come on over. What do you think of the birch sap soup?
Let me give it a taste.
Might be a little hot.
I like.
You like?
That's great.
It's great, right?
It's like our salmon chowder, but sweeter. Almost like a lobster bisque.
Yeah, it's got like a complex flavor. It's good.
Yeah, it's really good. It tastes like it would be good for you.
It does, yeah.
Another.
Okay, been about 1.5 hours with this. We're gonna do a stretch and fold. I'm not fancy with my stretch and folds. What I do is I just kind of wet my hand, gather the dough on one side, pull it up and over, and then just turn the bowl and keep doing it. I believe stretch and folds help strengthen the dough and develop gluten, but I am not 100% on that. About 4 times-ish. All right, I'm gonna let this be for another half hour, and then I'm gonna come back and do another stretch and fold for maybe do it another 3 or so times.
There we go, day 1.
Put it right there on the counter for me. Thank you.
I'll open the lid for you.
Thanks, love.
I feel it.
Yes. How's it feel?
Sticky.
Sticky?
Where is it? I was like,
Okay, so we are ready to shape these dinner rolls. Dough looks good. I'm excited to try this with the sap. I just kind of lightly wet my hands and the work surface, and then I'm going to divide this into about 8 and then roll each into balls and let them rise for about an hour. Interesting. Oh, really interesting. Kind of different. Make it look pretty. So these I'm gonna let rise in my nice cast iron pan, and these last 3, I'm just gonna do on a baking sheet. All right, these are gonna rise for about an hour, and then I'm gonna pop them in the oven with an egg wash at 350 for about 20 minutes until they're golden. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick egg wash to put on these buns before I pop them in the oven. I just take an egg yolk and a couple tablespoons of water and mix it around. Okay, I will check those in about 10-ish minutes, see how they're doing. I think these buns are ready to come out. Really big.
Hot. Well, that's like a cake.
Yeah. So this one turned into one giant loaf, which is fine. We'll just cut it up and put some butter on it, and it's still gonna be good.
I'll take that one.
I want that big one.
Ooh, that looks good.
Doesn't it? Oh, that's like a
Wow, oh
dinner
my
roll.
gosh, that looks really good. Like super light and fluffy looking. Oh, that looks good. All right, Lena, I'll butter you a piece.
I'll take a piece.
Sap sourdough.
It's really light and fluffy. That's great.
Nice. All right, well, these came out awesome. They were super light and fluffy. I will definitely bake with birch sap again. And that is it for Homestead Kitchen this week, guys. We'll see you next week.